send out compassion to the world so that we train ourselves not to see people as others, as different from us. So it's just a constant practice. Here we go.
Tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so ha.
We'd like to invite you to stand up for our opening song. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One.
We are opening up in in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up like a phoenix from the fire. Brothers and sisters, spread your wings and fly higher. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. We are rising up. Opening.
We are opening.
We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening.
Anton Miserek and Laura Berryhill. Thank you. Wow. And you all do look like you're opened up this morning. Am I right? I'm Kimberly Hawkins. I'm the senior minister. I'm actually the spiritual director now that Rev Michelle is gone, of Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley in partnership with Medford Unity. We welcome each one of you, no matter where you may happen to be on your personal spiritual journey. We are an inclusive and progressive spiritual community. We teach tools to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for everybody. If there's anyone here for the very first time, I'd love you to raise your hand just so we can give you a little love. Anybody here for the first time this morning? Yes, welcome. So glad you found your way to us. Yay. A few introductions. On the platform with me this morning is our practitioner, Carol Wythe, who will be doing the invocation and reading shortly. Sitting toward the back, holding high watch, praying throughout the service for the highest and best unfoldment for everything and everyone is practitioner Nancy Clay. I've already introduced our incredible musicians, Laura and Anton. And I just want to recognize Jean Hanna. Jean, where are you? Unity Board President, who did just a most exquisite meditation this morning. The fourth Sundays, we used to have Unity leading. Now we are going to CSL, but Unity is going to do the meditation. So be sure to catch that. It was absolutely beautiful. Unity's peace prayer. Thank you. So I think that's it, just a glimpse of what is to come. And by the way, welcome to our online viewers as well. Our teens are back from winter camp. We're going to be hearing from them at the end of the service. We have our annual meeting today after social time. Everybody's welcome to stay. Official members will be voting for our new board members. That's just part of what we're going to be doing. Kathy Green, where are you, Kathy? Kathy has prepared a really sweet photo slideshow of this past year. What a busy year it's been since we've united with Unity. So please stay for something to eat. We'd love to get to know you if you're brand new, and then the annual meeting. So for now, Turn your cell phones off, please, if you have not. No dings in the meditation this morning, Jean. Yay. And I'm going to invite you to take a collective deep breath. Carrie Ann, is that you? The kids are in there, I think, waiting for you. Okay. Well, then welcome here. I'm going to invite us to take a collective deep breath. By the way, before we breathe, no, not before we breathe, we're expecting a small passel of kids this morning in addition to our teens, which I am really grateful for. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Hopefully not the first one you've had a chance to do all week, and we're going to turn things over to our musicians to prepare us for our invocation and reading.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your grace in me, pour your grace into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit.
Thank you again, Laura and Anton. And greetings, everyone. As Reverend Kimberly said, I am Carol Wythe, a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm so glad to be up here today looking at your beautiful faces. And right now, I think Anton's going to help us back us up a little bit, and we're going to invoke the already present Spirit of God right here and right now. So would you join me in taking a deep breath, centering ourselves in that still, small voice that is within us, that beautiful light that creates the warm glow and positive feeling that we have. And we all know that that divine spirit is everywhere present, so it is here. But it is in our consciousness and the knowingness of that spirit that we create the love and harmony and peace that is so palpable in this church, so sacred. And I am so grateful to be a part of that love and harmony and peace. And in this day, I know that everything that is uttered by anyone is perfect and just what we need to hear. And our hearts are open and uplifting and uplifted as we take in all the beauty and sacredness of this day. And I just give thanks. And so it is. And now I'm going to light the peace candle. I light the peace candle. And as I do, I'm hoping this prayer is for peace all over the world. But today I was thinking it would be really nice if we all would pick a place that we're especially cognizant of and feel about. And use that consciousness to send out our love as I lead us in this peace prayer. I light the peace candle to represent the light within each of us, the light of divine oneness, the Christ consciousness that resides in us all. Knowing, as I light this flame of peace, we allow ourselves to feel God's presence and peace and love deeply in our hearts, so we might send that peace and love out into the world. As we move into a brief moment of silence for all those in pain, for the victims of senseless violence, for all those suffering right now, we send this light from our hearts to theirs. Oh, yes, and so it is. And now, for my reading today, I chose a reading that I feel like supports Reverend Kimberly's renewal concepts today. And I chose it from John O'Donoghue's Bless the Space Between Us. And it's a poem, so here we go. It's called Morning Offering. I bless the night that nourished my heart to set the ghosts of longing free into the flow and figure of dream that went to harvest from the dark bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day. The field of brightness it creates, offering time for each to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all the beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays and risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. And so it is.
Don't you think you owe it to yourself to look inside of you and take the time to realize what you are here to do? Don't you think the time has finally come to stand and face the fire, to walk into the blazing sun and claim your heart's desire? You were placed upon this earth with a mission to complete. Now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true. For even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. Do you think that you're not good enough to be a shining star? Or do you think because the road looks tough that you won't get that far? Do you believe that only some are great and others left for chance? or maybe that it's just too late, a futile circumstance. You were placed upon this earth with a mission to complete, and now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true. For even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. And when the world feels like it's crashing, crashing all around you, and the clouds of doubt are darkening your day, come and just be still and know that there's something deep within you that will always, always know the way. Move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true. For even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. Move in the direction of your dreams.
Beautiful rendition of Michael Gott's song. By the way, thank you, Laura and Anton. Michael Gott was initially a CSL minister. One of my teachers in ministerial school for music ministry wrote that song and many others, and is now currently, I believe, the lead minister of Unity in Houston. So another example of Unity and CSLs coming together. I've entitled my message this morning, The Third R. And no, I'm not talking about reading, writing, arithmetic. If you've been here, you'll know that the theme for this January here at CSL Rogue Valley has been release, receive, and renew. So a different set of 3 R's. On January 1st, New Year's Day, we did a burning bowl ceremony here. And people were asked to write down the things they wanted to let go of before we crossed the threshold of the new year in full. So worn out beliefs, bad habits, limiting beliefs or ideas about ourselves, just letting it go up in smoke. Actually, there wasn't any smoke, but it disappeared. The next 2 weeks, Rev. Michelle and I spoke about receive. Her talk was called It's a New Day, and the idea being we receive an opportunity each new day to change our thinking, to change our habits, to move in the direction of our dreams. And last week, my talk was called Be Still and Know that I am God. And I spoke about the extreme importance, and I think all of you know this, we don't always practice it. If you're like me, I usually do. The importance of being still, of getting quiet, of creating space so that we can hear divine guidance, which gets crossed out. It can't be heard in the din of the busyness of our lives sometimes. So today, receive. Now, receive, I think, happens naturally when we're continually practicing the releasing and the receiving, but it doesn't always happen exactly at the time or in the way that we expect it to. We have to be a little bit comfortable in the void sometimes, and patient and trusting in divine order and divine timing. I love Paul's message to the Romans 2:12 when he says, "Be ye not conformed to the experiences of the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." In other words, we can get our thinking clouded by limitations and things we see in the world of effects that are going on, which are temporary, by the way, and forget that when we focus on God, when we allow our minds to be renewed, everything changes. This passage fits so well with what we teach in Science of Mind in our philosophy. You know, we talk about change your thinking, change your life. We talk about everything starts in consciousness. What we focus on, what we pray for, what we believe is what we bring about in our lives. So it's just a great thing to remember. Now, on one level, I think we all welcome renewal. We want to be revitalized, re-energized, rebooted, right? Right? Yeah. But on another level, fear kicks in. I don't know about you. Anybody here a little bit reluctant sometimes when change happens when we didn't plan it? Yeah. And you know, we have this lizard brain, this reptilian brain, the amygdala, that gets scared and wants to hang on to old things or not move forward, and we get into this fear mode, which does not bring peace and does not bring about that which we like. I love what Helen Keller wrote. She said, "When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door, we do not see the one which has opened for us." Wow. So to have that faith that when a door closes, we've all experienced this. It might be the end of a relationship that we weren't counting on ending. It might be the end of good health in some way, some condition comes. It might be loss of a job or loss of financial flow that we're used to. And we can't yet see the open door, but it's always there. In our foundations classes, we teach that we all have breakthroughs, breakdowns, right? In life, it's up and down. But the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough. And there's always a breakthrough. It doesn't, again, necessarily come right away. Sometimes we have to be patient for it and know that it's coming. Crisis does, however, crack us open. And I think all of us have experienced this in our lives. There's a beautiful example of that door closing and another opening. A man named Ted Shawn. Ted was born at the end of the last century. And at the age of 19, while he was a divinity student, a divinity school student, he was stricken with an illness. I've heard two accounts. I don't know if it was polio, diphtheria, but in any event, it was a serious illness that left him paralyzed from the waist down. So he left divinity school and went about the task of trying to walk again. And in the midst of physical therapy and his healing, he heard this inner voice, clear as a bell, saying, of all things, dance. Say what? You know, he can't even walk, and he's hearing dance. And so he did. He began slowly, meticulously in his healing to dance. Ted Shawn went on to become, anybody know the name? He went on to become one of the fathers of modern dance. Innovative choreography and dancing. He had a school that taught many of the famous dancers that we know, including Martha Graham. He was knighted by the king of, was it Denmark, for the work he did with the Denmark Ballet. Phenomenal thing that happened. And what a beautiful example of listening to that still small voice, trusting it, and looking to the door that was open when the other door closed. He never did go back to divinity school, interestingly enough. Mark Nepo, in the Book of Awakening, writes about Ted's story, and he says, the best chance to be whole is to love whatever gets in the way until it ceases to be an obstacle. Not always easy, right? But it works. So this idea of a door closing and the amygdala getting involved and putting us into fear mode is something I experienced, I'm going to admit to you, when in early December, my beloved co-minister, Reverend Michelle, had applied for the executive directorship of our entire denomination, and I had a feeling she was going to be hired, which she was. And I was happy for her, and I knew she'd do a great job. Well, what about me? She was my co-minister. I so enjoyed having, I stepped my hours back and took a salary cut to be collaborative with her, and it was so much fun to go through, whether it was the challenges or the fun times together, and she's brilliant and wonderful and big heart. It was awesome. And I thought eventually, I'm a little older than her, and eventually when I leave, don't worry, I'm not leaving right away, but she would, she'd be the next in line, and everything was set. You know what they say about making plans, right? If you want to make God laugh. So I did go through, I went through a hard time. I really had mixed emotions. I knew on one level it was a good thing for our whole denomination, but I was in fear about what it meant for me and my schedule and the succession and our community. And eventually, through just, a lot of prayer and settling in and listening, I realized this is a win-win-win-win. There is no loss here. Yes, we will miss her, but she's still a member of our community. And you see, there is a door open now. There is space now for us to attract the perfect person to either be co-minister. I don't know what it's going to look like exactly, but the door is open. I think it was Catherine Ponder who said, the universe abhors a vacuum. When we're willing to release what needs to go, we create space and the universe fills it in. So I don't know how this is going to look, and I've had a lot of people ask me, and if I've been at all short with you, I apologize. I've had so many people come up, are you going to make so-and-so your co? Are you going to do this? And the answer is, I do not know right now, and that's okay. I'm comfortable not knowing, and I'd like all of us to be comfortable not knowing. I'm about to go on a month-long sabbatical. My beautiful board supported me. This was planned way back when. And I will be away next month. I'll be in Mexico most of the month. You have 4 incredible guest speakers lined up, and our ministerial staff will be here to support you. Viv will be the contact person. And I have a feeling by the time I get back from Mexico, I'll have more clarity. Maybe not, we'll see. But what I know is when we are able to be still and listen and let things unfold, all is truly well here in our community, and all will continue to be truly well. And I can say that now with absolute knowing. This not knowing and being able to see from a different perspective, which is what happened to me. There is a cute story, again, in the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo about the rabbit in the garden. In fact, it comes from the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. I did not. But the man apparently is just obsessed because some rabbit is eating everything in his garden. And he's done everything he could to keep that darn rabbit out, including putting fencing 3 feet under the perimeter of the whole garden. And still he wakes up each morning and everything's nibbled and gone. He finally figures that there's probably a better way to go about this. Maybe there's a different way to see this. So he sits out in the moonlight watching the garden one night, opens the gate to the garden, and just as he's falling asleep, he sees the rabbit scurry out of the garden. It was trapped in the garden by his fence. And what a beautiful metaphor, because don't we sometimes build walls and barriers and try to keep out what we don't want, when sometimes if we just relaxed and looked with new eyes, the solution would appear. And that's what I feel will happen for our community and for anything you might be going through in your life that right now you just can't quite see the solution. Sometimes we have to give up the striving and allow Spirit to show us a different way. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. A Course in Miracles speaks to this. It defines a miracle. A Course in Miracles, you figure it'll define a miracle, right? But it doesn't define a miracle in the way we normally think of a miracle. If I said to you, what's a miracle? I bet you'd say something like, for example, when someone gets cured of an incurable disease, right? A miracle happens. Or a set of circumstances brings someone or something into my life that could not have been foreseen in a logical way. It's a miracle. No, the Course says a miracle is a shift in perception. It's a shift from fearful thoughts to loving thoughts. When we're able to make that shift, everything changes. Everything changes. I love that idea. Willa Cather, some of you know her work, she really speaks to this in her novel, Death Comes for the Archbishop. She said, miracles seem to me to rest not so much upon healing power coming suddenly near us from afar, but upon our perceptions being made finer, so that for a moment, our eyes can see and our ears can hear what is there around us always. Always. Right? Reminds me again of Helen Keller's quote. The doors are always there. We just can't always see them. As happenstance would have it, I love synchronicities. I listened to an Audible book this past week. I don't know if any of you know it. It's called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life. Anybody heard of it? Yeah. Really great book. And the major premise is that we tend to ask what the author, Marilee Adams, calls judger questions. I don't know if anybody else out there is like me, but I can be judgmental, right? About myself or about other people. When we ask judger questions, we're asking things like, you know, I ask a lot of them when I watch the news, like, how can he be so crazy or whatever, or, you know, what's wrong with that person, or why don't they do this? And those are judger questions, and they don't make us happy. They don't bring us peace. They don't allow us to feel connections. They don't allow us to see the Christ light in the other person, none of that. So the author says we need to ask learner questions, be open to learning. And those are things, well, first of all, she says, there are questions we can ask that kind of steer us onto the path of learner rather than judger. So the switching questions, if you will, are things like this. What assumptions am I making? Or, how else can I think about this? Or, what's this other person thinking or feeling? And that allows us to start questioning from a learner perspective. Right? How might we create a different reality together? How might we cooperate? What's a greater truth to be known here? What's the gift in this situation, and so on? And I love that because really, in essence, what that does is helps us to steer ourselves from perceiving fear to perceiving love. And that's really the biggest shift we need to make, isn't it? It's lovely. So, one more thing about the Course in Miracles. All these things kind of this week, coming together. One of the lessons in January this week was I am determined to see things differently. Just that affirmation alone. And if there's somebody you're having conflict with, I am determined to see Joe or whatever it is differently. Or in a situation, I'm determined to see this election differently. Whatever the issue is that's causing you grief. And it, again, starts to allow our perception to change. So, again, 3 R's. Releasing the old, being quiet enough to receive guidance. In the meantime, being willing to be comfortable in the void, the vacuum. That's important before we have renewal. And renewal will come when it's ready to come. I have it's actually not a final poem to read because I'm going to end with a meditation, but this is a poem, Jim Hawes, from Steve Taylor. He's the one that recommended this book to me. It's awesome. Steve Taylor wrote this book called The Calm Center. He speaks about the importance of space. If you think about it, if there weren't space between the notes in a musical composition, we'd have cacophony, we'd have noise. If there wasn't space in our speech, in our language, nobody could understand each other, right? And in our lives, if we didn't allow for space, we'd be overwhelmed and frenetic and crazy all the time. So, yeah, some of us have experienced that. And so if you need to make some space, I'm going to invite me and all of us make some space. So here's the second half of his poem. But when space pervades your life, shapes begin to form. patterns start to emerge, and your vision becomes clearer against an empty background. And you can sense your purpose again and return to your path. And when space pervades your being, the discord inside you begins to heal, the chaos begins to clear. As if a river of ease is flowing through you, you feel yourself emptying and expanding until you're vast and whole but limitless, and the vastness of your being is full of harmony and meaning. That's a pretty good invitation, if you ask me. So recapping here, the third R happens naturally. We experience renewal when we're willing to continue to release and receive and hang out in the void. We can get scared by change, that amygdala, that lizard brain can kick in, but remember, we all know change is inevitable. Our whole body, every cell in our human body gets regenerated and replaced every 7 years. So we can't fight change. We might as well embrace it. And to remember that love is the primary mover of miracles. When we can shift to that mindset, everything works out. Fear to love, judger to learner, and let everything unfold. I want to end today with a poem that I discovered this week, and in a moment, Laura and Anton will play underneath, and we'll use it as a little bit of a meditation. Anybody here familiar with the poems of Joy Harjo? Yeah, she is a poet laureate of our country. She's Native American, beautiful, beautiful poet. And she wrote this poem called "For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet." It was in a book of hers called Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings. So I'm going to read the first part of it, and then we'll use the second part as a meditation, if you're willing. She writes, and I'm just doing excerpts, it's a long poem. Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door and close it behind you. Take a breath. Let's do that. Take a breath. Offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back, give the breath back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars, ears, and back. And as I read the rest of the poem, I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes and just take in this poem as a form of meditation, as an invitation to renewal. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go. Make a giveaway, and remember, keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. Let's go into prayer. I know that we are surrounded by, infused with, breathed by, supplied, supported, guided by an infinite power of love intelligence that is everywhere present, no matter how dark a situation or a feeling may appear to us to be. We can't be separate from that power, that love intelligence. We are made from it, here to express it. Here to move in the direction of our dreams, which are planted within us by that very source of infinite love that created each one of us. And so what I know is there is good and more good always available to us, that as one door to happiness closes, another is open if we have the eyes to see it. And I know as we continue to practice this week, moving from a perception, from a thought of fear to a thought of love, to see with the eyes of the Christ consciousness, which knows its oneness with the Father, Mother, God, the Spirit, the being, the source of all that is. I know that just as Ted Sean experienced a painful experience which took him away from the path he thought he was on, he was led when he got quiet enough to hear that inner voice. And I know that that's true for each of us here. As we are still and quiet, we always hear, are available to hear, that voice of the Infinite One, sometimes whispering, but never stopping, consistently, persistently nudging us on the path that is right for us. The will of God is not different from our will if we can listen and learn to trust. So I know this year, as we continue to release what no longer serves us, to receive guidance, to sit in the void where necessary, we are renewed. And as we allow ourselves to do that, we do, in fact, take on the ability to guide others along this path. As Joy Harjo said, help the next person find their way through the apparent dark. How good it is to know that we are here on planet Earth together, made from one source, meant to heal, to grow, to move in the direction of our dreams, and to support one another to do the same. I give thanks for all the words that have come to me this week through the poets, the writers. I give thanks for everyone here in the seats listening to me. I give thanks for this incredible community committed to see the God, to see the Christ in each other, especially when we forget who we are. I give thanks to everyone listening online, and I give thanks for this new year ahead, this new opportunity to move in the direction of our dreams. So in gratitude, I just release this prayer knowing that it is heard, it is answered already in the mind of the divine. And we say together, so it is. Amen.
Be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy.
If you know it or catch it, sing along. May you be
Filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease, and may we be happy. I am filled with loving kindness. I am well. I am peaceful and at ease, and I am happy. And I am happy. And I am happy.
Let's see. Yes, the mic is on. Okay. It's time in our service now as our ushers come forward to give our tithes and offering. And we have heard so many times that giving and receiving is the same. As we circulate our good into the world, it comes back tenfold to us. So I invite you to say an affirmation with me in a moment. Know that if you put cash in there, you can just put it in an envelope if you prefer to designate it to CSL or Unity. Otherwise, just go ahead and drop it in there. You can write a check to either. Those of you watching online can give online at www.cslroguevalley.org. And I'm going to invite you to say our giving affirmation after me, if you would. Graciously I give, from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. So it is.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
Did I? Yeah, okay. Announcements before we move into the social hall. Our teens are going to come up in just a minute because they just got back from teen winter camp and they're going to tell us about that. But a reminder that after our social time in Bosworth Hall, we will be meeting for our annual meeting, CSL Rogue Valley. Kathy Green has prepared a wonderful little slideshow of pictures of the past year. We'll do kind of a state of the union, what's going on in our community and especially in partnership with Unity. And let's see, we'll be electing officers. What's the matter?
Oh, I was just going to say I wanted to make a note.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Jean, come on up. Yeah. And let's see, our teens are ready. So, yeah, please join us. We'll be electing board members for the new board members. Come on up, teens. Let me see, do you look different? Who's going first? You going first, Sophie? So we want to know, how was it?
Teen camp was so fun. I got to reconnect with my friends from the summer camp last summer, and I also got to meet some really cool people too. And Ben was my family dad. He I don't know, he was an advisor. It was really cool. And I don't know, I really liked my family. Family one is the best. And I don't know, it was just really pretty. And we did workshops on positive self-talk and mindfulness and all this stuff that was really good to practice. And yeah, it was, I don't know, I'm very excited for summer camp, and I'm so grateful to have been able to go in winter camp.
All right. Woo-hoo!
The things that I'm thankful for is also in relations to camp. The thing is, when I went to camp, I had no idea what to expect. It was my first camp, and it was awesome. I met a bunch of new friends, and I made a bunch of new friends, and the food was awesome. The food was amazing. We had sandwiches and tacos. I thought that it was just gonna be snot mashed potatoes and everything like that, prison foods and stuff like that. Anyways, another thing that I'm really thankful for is apparently not all the time that we don't go to camp for free, but a bunch of you guys in the crowd supported that, and I'm really grateful for that because I don't want to have to be busting my butt just to go to some teen camp for 2 days. It's not worth it, man. Don't do it. Oh man, what else? I was thinking of another topic.
Favorite part?
Favorite part, yeah. I guess it would be all the I got to know everyone, because apparently in summer camp and the last camp that happened, there was somewhere around 100 kids. Or over 100 kids. Yeah. Jesus. And I got to know everybody. I got to know each person that went to camp with me personally, and that was an awesome experience. And yeah, another favorite part is that we all socialized, and there was apparently a new rec room below the lodge, and they had a foosball table and pools. I'm terrible at pool, by the way. Don't play me. And I already hit the food. Okay.
You did great. Hand it to your dad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for supporting the camp.
Thank you, Monica. That's good work. Hi, everybody. This is my first youth camp since I was a youth.
He's not a youth anymore, though.
Yeah, so it had been, trying to calculate the years here. I was born in 1985, and my first camp when I was 12, until I was 17. So yeah, 20 years back, and it was fantastic. It was really great to see all of the youth come in, and everyone's kind of shy in the beginning. Some people click because they know each other, but everyone's a little reserved because you're in that stage of life where you feel kind of awkward. And then you get to just watch all of the youth
blossom all week long and smile and really open up, and it just creates this family energy with everyone, and all of our walls come down and we're just open and sharing and unconditionally loving each other. It's just really magic. There's a fantastic kitchen staff now. At my youth camp, the food was not of this quality. I remember powdered eggs and a lot of stuff, and you don't ever even really know who the kitchen or the camp staff is at all. And this time, I mean, they're out, they're socializing with us. They're practitioners and youth leaders that are involved in other centers already there, and they're really just happy to give. They're coming out and making sure everything's okay. I mean, they're really treating the camp with love, and you see it. They were helping teach some of the youth chess, and they were making extra effort to make sure that all different dietary needs were taken care of. They had special desserts for people who couldn't have nuts or gluten or vegan. I mean, I never experienced anything like that. It really added a whole new element and energy to the camp as well.
Nice.
So it was really, really fun. I just want to thank all of you for helping give the kiddos the experience of that, and I think they're all really, really looking for it. It just blew everyone away, and you could watch it happen. It was magic, so thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you to you too, Ben, for being an advisor. And next summer camp. And Rowan went too, yes? Rowan?
Yes.
Yeah, so there were 3 teens, and one of them couldn't make it, but Rowan was there. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Jean Hanna has an announcement, and then there are a few other announcements. No drumming circle today, by the way. Drumming circle will happen next Sunday. Here you go, Jean.
Just real quick, we just spontaneously decided to have a quick prayer circle for Eddie in the back after service. So
Nice.
5 minutes, hold the intention for healing for Eddie. Just join us in the back, 5 minutes, okay?
Thank
Thanks.
you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. A couple other things. Classes coming up. Reverend Bonnie Anderson, who is Ben's mama, is going to be teaching science, Foundations of Science of Mind online. There's a sign-up sheet in Bosworth Hall. It's going to be Thursday evenings on Zoom beginning February 9th. You can sign up now with a $50 deposit online and get a $50 discount off the tuition. That is a life-changing, talk about being transformed. How many have taken Foundations and found it transforming? See? Yes? Okay. Karen Jordan, our practitioner, is going to be doing your personal sacred mandala, an artistic class expressing yourself through mandalas, no artistic ability needed. She's postponing that till March, and there's a sign-up sheet for that. That will happen Thursday afternoons here at the center in person. Northwest Seasonal Workers Association, who we have partnered with for years, is having their annual Super Bowl tamale benefit. There's a sign-up sheet and flyer in there. You can order your tamales. They're $20 for a dozen, a donation, $10 for a half dozen, and you can order chicken, pork, cheese, or vegan. Great way to support a beautiful organization. Otherwise, be sure to check our newsletter. There's a sign-up sheet in the social hall if you're not on our newsletter list. Don't forget the prayer box in the back of the sanctuary if you want to request a prayer. I think that's it. There's also a sign-up sheet for name tags if you don't have one in that corner of the sanctuary. Okay, I'm going to read a little benediction and then turn it over to our musicians for our closing song. Remember, join us for a snack and then our annual meeting. The annual meeting, let's see, I'm hoping about 12:30, about an hour, 12:30, 12:45, and it'll probably go an hour plus. Let me leave you with this mantra, again from the Course in Miracles. It's beautiful. Christ's vision looks through me today. Christ's vision, that vision of oneness, of love, looks through me today. I'm going to invite our practitioners to come forward. They're available for prayer after our closing song. And take it away, Lauren Anton.
All right, and we'd like to ask you all to stand for this song, which is called Stand. For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking I could change my life, and that's how I could change the world. Here we go. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new